Welcome to From Rome Info video. My name is Brother Alexis Bugnolo. I'm the publisher and editor of FromRome.info. And here you see me in the chapel of the Hermitage of the Holy Cross here in Italy to talk about Catholic patriotism. Now, this is not a pairing of words you normally hear about, or if you hear about it, you think, okay, as a Catholic, I should be patriotic to my country. But that's not what I mean by this phrase in this video. Yes, patriotism is a virtue by which we are loyal to our country and we support the common good in our country in a Catholic sense of what that means. But shouldn't Catholics have a patriotism for Holy Mother Church? Shouldn't Catholics want to defend Christendom, not in the sense of a political entity or cultural territory, or a civilization, but Holy Mother Church? The Church right now is in the greatest crisis of her history, in her 2,000-year history, because the U.S. government, for the last 70 years, has spent billions to destroy our Church, to buy our bishops, to buy our cardinals, to buy our popes, to corrupt the Vatican. This isn't coming from lazy Italian clerics in the Vatican. The Vatican's always been to a certain amount, there's always been some corruption there. But why did the religion change so radically after World War II? Why have we had constant liturgical changes, constant attempts to change the doctrine? And why do we now have an Argentine running the Vatican who in every single way you could measure someone isn't even Catholic? And why has Benedict been sidelined and silenced? And why is what he says since 2013 been manipulated by so many journals? So if you're a reader of From Rome, or if you watch From Rome Info video, you've seen my videos, the documentaries, the long explanations I have. I'm one of the few Americans who are Catholic who talk about the issue constantly, and FromRome.info is a journal dedicated to the cause of Pope Benedict. But where are all the other Catholics? I came to Rome in 2019, though I do have dual citizenship. I didn't have a penny to come here. Someone wanted me to organize a conference and gave the money, and I came for 3 days. Well, I've been here 3 years, and I only can stay here because of the generosity of many benefactors around the world who read my journal. But that's not what I'm talking about now. I'm talking about Catholic patriotism. There are those listening to this who have the means to come to Rome and fight like me for Pope Benedict. Where are you? The Catholics at Rome who are in union with Benedict are all very poor people. Italy has a 73% tax rate. They have like no disposable income. They can come to a meeting or two, that's all they could do. They can't afford even to print posters. They can't afford to organize conferences, conventions, assemblies, or protests. And there's only about, I'll be frank with you, there's only about 20 or 40 of them. There's a lot more Catholics in communion with Pope Benedict around the world. And you have a lot more resources. Why aren't you here at Rome fighting for Pope Benedict? Have you seen the recent photos of Pope Benedict? His health has deteriorated. Now, may God grant him many years, but for my care for my mom when she died of dementia, I know that when you get that emaciated, our Lord is about to call you from this life. And this will trigger the greatest crisis in the history of the Church, because it appears that all the cardinals are in communion with the usurper, the anti-pope, and therefore have lost all right to elect Benedict's successor and won't take any action to do that. How is the Church going to preserve at Rome the apostolic succession unless there is an election of Pope Benedict's successor according to apostolic right? And I explained that in a recent article, but you know what kind of an effort that's going to take so that it is done in a way that is transparent and is obvious to the whole world that it's an act of the Catholic Church and not a private initiative? It's going to take tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. We have to get permission from the city of Rome to use a very large part of the city, a meeting place, And for that, they're going to want to see the funds that we can put up an entire stage, like you see at rock concerts, with speakers and video displays and sound systems and seating and security and portable toilets, and that could run you $120,000 right there. So where are all the Catholics who are patriots? Now, I organized a committee for the liberation of Pope Benedict in October, and we're organizing a list of invitees. We cannot yet take action because the new government has to form its committees for that deal with these matters in each of the two branches of the legislatures. And these committees in Italy have 25 members, so it's highly likely we'll find people willing to listen to us. But that may not be we will not be able to do that in time. And whether the committee lobbies with the Italian government to get them to call a provincial council to restore Pope Benedict, or whether by divine providence we're forced to change gears and organize the election of, or help organize the election of Pope Benedict's successor, we can't do any of this thing on the small amount of money that I, a friar without a penny to my name, raised. We've raised $250 so far. So I see all this talk and concern about Benedict being the Pope, and a lot of Catholics saying, I'm for Pope Benedict. And I see even more talk about Catholics saying, we don't want Bergoglio or any of his successors. And yet, there's been no response to the appeal for the Committee for the Liberation of Pope Benedict. When in October, I mentioned my personal legal issues because I've resisted the resistance and I've been assaulted by police and I have to file either criminal complaints or defend myself against false charges, I was heartened by the very strong support I got from my readers at From Rome. But I am dismayed that there has been almost no response to any appeal to liberate Pope Benedict. Are you concerned that he's suffering because it's a matter of perverse entertainment to you? Or do you actually want him to be liberated? So I'm asking Catholic patriots to come forward. I'm asking people to get real. There should be a couple hundred Catholic patriots in the world who can come to Rome, rent an apartment. I'll help you organize how to do it. Even if you don't speak a word of Italian, there's a thing called Google Translate. You can make do, and Italians are very friendly, and there's no more COVID controls in Italy. So there's nothing preventing you to come, because if we had that many Catholic patriots at Rome, we could really start doing something. And this is something that needs to be done to save the church. You can't save the church from your part of the world. Well, you could financially support what we're doing, that's fine. But we need people on the ground at Rome. And I am the only one who is really active. As I said, the other Italians, the little they can do. And if they have some small income from a job, they could be fired by taking this position. So they're very, very cautious, and that keeps them from really being active the way Catholics in other parts of the world who are in societies that have good foundations for free speech and social action know how to do and can do. So this is my appeal to Catholic patriots. Financial support and physically support by coming to Rome this action, because it's probably in the next year that we're going to have to do things that Catholics have never had to do in 1,000 years. It's been since 1046 that three false claimants to the Pope were deposed in the provincial council, and it has been since 739 that the Catholic laity have been participated in the papal election. So this is epochal making, this is historic making. If you want to be a Catholic patriot and merit great things from Christ the King, this is a way to do it. And if you have big debts to pay to our Lord because you've lived in sin most of your life, our Lord says, give of your wealth and it will be wiped clean from you. So how much more if you defend his church by defending his vicar, or defend the church by defending the papacy. And it's not enough to do likes, clicks, faves, and share articles. We have to get real now. And I have been talking about this kind of more and off for 3 years From Rome. But I remain dismayed that really no one has woken up and realized how dangerous the situation is for the salvation of the whole world and for the existence of the church until the end of time. And I hope you wake up to it. God bless. Ave Maria.